What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Movie Swap. This is number 59, and my guest tonight has some of the most fun horror content on YouTube and on Instagram. So definitely check her out. And I am talking about Selis, aka Sweet and Spooky. How's it going, Selis?
It's going good. That was such a sweet intro. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you. I try to make my guests feel welcome. I,
That means a
you know,
lot.
oh, thank you. Um, Well, let's talk about just a little bit of that content. My first question is for my friends who are not familiar with her channel. One of the things that happens is when you do reviews, you have a headless guest. How did that come about? How did that get started?
Yes, that is my headless butler, Cornelius. He lives in my house. He is but an entity who helps me reviewing movies. So that came about because I am a big fan of Elvira and I love like the horror host, like the classic horror host thing. And I present as a bimbo. And so I wanted to do kind of my own take on the Elvira thing, my own spin, make it really pink, bimbo-y. And yeah, that's how Cornelius came about.
Oh, that's cool. So yeah, I picked up on the Elvira vibes. There was also, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm also getting at just a little bit, if you're not familiar, because I know you're a lot younger than me. And happy birthday! You just had a birthday.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
um, but I'm also getting a little bit of Rhonda Shear from USA Up All Night. Are you familiar with Rhonda Shear?
No, I'm not.
Ooh, so USA used to be a network, actually, USA Network,
Uh-huh.
and it was on regular television. So they showed B movies late at night. Um,
Hmm.
they would cut because it was still television, still network television, sort of, or cable, basic cable television. And Rhonda Shear was basically the horror host
I
for
love
that.
it.
And
Oh,
so I get a little hint of Rhonda Shear
that's
also.
amazing. I have to check her out. I love women. I love horror hosts. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I'm sure you can find clips of her on YouTube. I'm pretty positive of that because she was pretty popular. And
Cool.
for older kids like me, back 80s kids like me, that's how we got to introduced to a lot of B horror movies was through Rhonda Shear
Oh,
more than
I
even
love
Elvira.
that.
'Cause Elvira was great, but she wasn't on TV all the time.
Right. Yeah. Do you watch Joe Bob?
Sometimes, every now and again, not a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I like Joe Bob. I like Darcy like more than Joe Bob, but I like Joe Bob, but I'm there for Darcy.
Yeah, yeah. I understood, understood.
Love the male girl.
I probably need to watch more Joe Bob because everybody who I watch just loves Joe Bob. Everybody who I know, and
It's fun.
yeah, not that I dislike him. I just for whatever reason just never watched a lot.
It's a lot. It's a commitment cuz the episodes are really long. He talks a
Yeah,
lot.
does he's kind of like Mystery Science Theater, kind of along
Kind of,
those lines.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
those episodes they did whole movies pretty much and talked through them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. Um, so recently, I do want to talk about a movie review you did recently.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I do. Well, first, I mentioned Sinners. You thought it was great. I thought it was great. We're gonna move past that. Though that
Yes.
was, unless you had something you want to say specific about Sinners.
I don't have anything more to add cuz like everyone's already like, said
Yes,
everything. But yes, one of the best of the year so far.
yes. So the review I want to talk about though is the one of the I think it might be the most recent one you did. It was Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay, yeah.
So not the most recent. There's one after that, but I didn't watch that movie. So
That's
I didn't
okay.
watch the review because I hadn't watched that movie yet.
That's okay.
But for Bloodlines, I also just released a review of that. The reason I want to talk to you about that is because we both like the movie, but for different reasons.
Oh,
So
okay.
at least what I'm picking up on from your video, you
Okay.
like you like the movie as a legitimately good movie. I like
Yeah.
the movie as a legitimately bad movie that I just couldn't take my eyes off of.
Actually, I love that. That's so funny. Really.
Yeah. So
Are
tell
you
me
are
on why
you
it's
big on
actually
this
good.
franchise?
Say it
Sorry.
again.
Are you big on the franchise?
Yeah, I like the franchise. Yes. But
Okay. Okay.
most of them, I'm in that boat though. Most of them is like, okay, this is pretty bad, but
Oh.
the kills are great, and I have fun with them.
Okay. I got you.
So can you sell me on why I'm selling it short?
Um I don't know. I think story-wise it's like more refined than some of the other ones. I think that like 4 is really bad, especially story-wise and like character development. Um I don't know. I think this one just is a lot better as a movie because I think as the franchise went on, it
Mhm.
just kind of became too focused on like how to outdo the kills, and everything else was just like it's whatever. So I
Yeah.
think this one we kind of bring it back to the OG. It's kind of like we're like connected to these characters. I don't know, but I didn't view it as bad. I thought it was
Okay,
good.
I understand. I understand. My deal was just the dialogue was just terrible for me. It was like
Wow.
what do you got? Why are we still talking about this? Um, and and aside from the fact, and I'm going to spoil it just a little bit for people who haven't seen. Not that I'm going to spoil exactly what happens, but one of the characters, we eventually meet the mom, and
Oh yeah.
she's holed herself up in this barricaded place pretty much. And my first thought when I looked at this place, if you are trying to survive just random death popping up on you, why
Hmm.
is everything in the yard so damn sharp? That was my first thought.
I love this thought process. I didn't even think of that.
That was I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, whoa, there's all these wooden spikes, all these wooden stakes
That's true.
that could kill Dracula. And then you got all these sharp objects that's laying around. I was like, this is not very smart at all. But
Yeah.
that was just one of my things. But anyway, I will say I agree with you completely on the opening sequence was just spectacular.
Oh yeah. I love the way they use shout in that scene. Such a good use of the song.
Yes, yes, they did. They did. It was pretty good. It was pretty strong. It was pretty strong. Did have one death that I cheered on practically, and
Is it what I think?
probably is. It involves a piano.
Yeah, I did
Yes,
too. I was so excited.
yes, yes. Now I thought that person was gonna get away for just a split second,
Me too. I'm
and
happy
then
they didn't.
yes, completely happy that they didn't. I was really pleased about that. All right. Um, so let's take a look and see who is out here in the chat. We got a few people out here with us. Some of my normal merry men plus some merry men and women. And let's see if we got anybody else here. We got Bonnie, aka Mama Blu-ray. She's here. She says hi. Hey Bonnie.
Hi.
And always got to say hi to Bonnie and Sue. Sue is her daughter. Movies with Sue. If you're not familiar,
Oh, that's so cute. I know I'm not
yes.
familiar. I love that.
Luke is here. What's going on, Luke? What's going on? And he's nice to meet you, Selis.
Hello.
Luke has also got a great channel. He was on Movie Swap a couple months ago,
Oh,
and
cool.
we talked about a couple of movies. Y2K was the horror movie we talked about. The other movie was not. Smirk is here. What's going on, Smirk? Says good afternoon to us both.
Hello.
Uh, Dice rolling. What's going on, Dice? And I guess that's supposed to be a wave there. He's bonjour.
Yes. Hi, Dice.
Aberig, I'm not familiar with. Hello from Germany. Outstanding. Thank you for coming
Oh,
in all the way
yes. This is my
from Germany.
friend.
Ah, cool. Very
Hi.
cool.
How
Very
are
cool.
you?
So I hope you stick around and hope you revisit the channel after this. Maybe hopefully I won't piss you off too much through the evening. Luke, I watched Repulsion a couple years ago, and I remember really enjoying it. I definitely want to revisit it. All right, we're definitely going to get all into that. Ashley, Hey guys, came here from Sweet and Spooky, but just subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much, Ashley. Appreciate that.
Hi. Thanks for being here.
And Luke just subscribe to you.
Oh, thank you. I
Very,
appreciate it.
very cool. And Bonnie, Mama Blu-ray, also
Oh my
sub
gosh,
to
I
you.
love it. Thank you so much. I have to check out these channels. I love this
Yes.
name. Mama Blu-ray is so cute.
Okay. Just about everybody has a channel, but Mama Blu-ray actually does not. But her daughter does. Her daughter's Movies with Sue.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Um, Corey is here from Wilkie's Movies and Music. He says, "Hey, all, what's going on, Corey?"
Hello.
Adrian also here. What's going on, Adrian? So I'm almost official. So I'm waiting on one other person to make it completely official. If Adrian's here, I know I'm official for the evening.
I love that.
And that person hasn't gotten here just yet. So I'm gonna put a pin in it right there. And we got a lot of haze back and forth. So I'm going to let you guys talk back and forth with one another. And before we actually get to the movies, we did make a you did make a small comment. We talked about Mama Blu-ray, but before that, we talked about we were talking Rhonda Shear and Elvira, and you mentioned you love women in horror. Was
Yes.
Elvira the gateway for you there, or was it something else, someone else?
Actually, no. I wish Elvira was the gateway for me, but she was not on TV when I was younger. But actually, like I think my first like real like woman I was obsessed with in a horror movie was Carrie because that was one of the first ones I watched, and then
Wow.
it blossomed from there.
How old were you when you saw Carrie for the first time?
Oh my gosh. I was young. I think I was like in 5th grade, which is probably really bad age to watch that movie because it really scared me.
I think first time I saw it, I saw it when I was not much older than that, maybe 6th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah.
But I saw a TV edit, so I like half the movie's not actually there.
Oh. I remember the sounds scaring me the most.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Oh, from that first viewing, all I really remember was the prom scene.
Mhm.
And, over the years, you watch it, bits and pieces, but I always got the prom scene. So it wasn't until I was an adult until I watched it in full again, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh wow, this is really good." So, what do you think of the remake, though? Did you see that?
Oh my goodness. The one with Chloe Grace Moretz? There's like so
Yes,
many
yes.
versions of Carrie.
That one in
Yeah.
particular.
uh yeah, I was kind of mid on it to be like I didn't hate it, but I didn't
Mhm.
love it. I really like Chloe Grace Moretz, but I don't know. The casting in that movie is odd. I like Julianne Moore too, but I don't know. I didn't really
She gave
love
us
it.
a completely different take on the character.
She did. It was kind of strange. Yeah. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it in a really long time, but
right,
yeah, I wasn't obsessed when I first saw it.
right. So in the first movie, um, the mom, and I'm drawing a blank on who played the mom for some reason, but in the original movie, um, and she has come out and said this, she played it like a satire, so she was going kind of over the top on purpose,
Yeah.
and she was just just balls to the wall the whole time, whereas and Julianne Moore was kind of giving us a kind of depressed and oppressed by her religion kind of thing. So it's just a weird take on it for me, anyway.
It is. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. And agent tells me I've frozen. I hope I'm back. I don't know.
You're back.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Bonnie says, "Gotta love Elvira." Absolutely.
You do.
Oh, Adrian's telling me that I'm back. He says I thawed out now.
Oh, I love that term.
Ashley says, "Oh yes, I watched Carrie Young too." And it was life changing, so scary. Yeah, yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah.
We have Doctober in the house. He says hello,
Hi,
hello, Doctober.
D.
And the original Carrie is a great one, says Corey. Yes, it is. We have Abby Polite says, Hi, Abby. How you doing?
Hello.
And I found a dead rat. Adrian Barbeau is Swamp Thing for me. Yes, I'm old. LOL. Yeah, Adrian Barbeau is one for me too. I watched Swamp Thing. Sounds like we're probably about the same age. I saw the year it came out. Um, too many times on HBO back in the day.
I love Adrienne Barbeau. My introduction to her is her doing the voice of the cat lady in Scooby Doo on Zombie Island.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot she did that. I totally forgot she did that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great one. Caveman is here. Says, "Hey, all, please hit the like button." Absolutely, hit the like button. Tells the algorithm, you know how you know what that does. It tells people you like it, and maybe they recommend it to some folks. I don't know. That is a good one. I'm old too. We're talking about Swamp Thing. Ooh, here's one for Adrian. I watched Rob Zombie's Halloween last night. First time I've seen it. What do you think of Rob Zombie's Halloween?
Wow, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so that movie is really interesting because when it first came out, I liked it, but I also was like an edgy like teen, and I thought that it was like really cool and disturbing. And then a few years back, I rewatched all of the Halloween movies to do a big video on it, and I was like, wow, this is actually really bad.
Ooh,
Um,
so
yeah.
I did the same thing a couple years ago. I watched all the franchise and did a big video on it. And I'm gonna go opposite again. So we're on opposite sides a lot here. Um,
Whoa.
this one's actually my favorite one. And yes, for anyone who saw me last week on Mega Mike's channel, we had a game where that came up, and I had to vote whether I liked the original Halloween or this one better. And I voted for the original for the sake of the game.
Oh, oh.
But
Oh, but it's not true.
I actually like Rob Zombie's Halloween better. Um, yeah, it's just me.
Wait, that's actually great. I actually love when I disagree with somebody else because I love hearing other people's thoughts. It's so interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
my thoughts on the original Halloween is that it's just so slow and it's a lot of standing around. And I did actually appreciate the backstory on Michael Myers. So
Okay.
a lot
Yeah.
of other people like we don't need that. So that's kind of where we fall out. I know.
Yeah. I mean, the original is it is slow, you know. It's not a dead air, but I don't know. I can't get with the
I
Rob
get it.
Zombie, you know.
It's the original's a classic. So I'm
Yeah.
not knocking anybody. I just go against the grain. Tiana's here. What's going on, Tiana? She says, "Hey,
Hello.
Tiana's actually going to be on the channel next week. We're going to do a game. She's going to play a game with us."
Oh, that's fun.
Um, Patrick is here. He says, "Hey, Dub, have Cheetah will view." Um,
Hello.
Patrick interviews lots of folks in who are filmmakers, and a lot of them like self financed and self funded filmmakers who do a lot of low budget B grade movies. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely check out Have Cheetah Will View,
That's cool.
and Cheetah is his cat. So
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
I'm a
Uh,
cat
ah,
girl.
Mika is here of Double Feature Podcast. She says, "Hey Del and hey Selis."
Hi, Queen.
I'm gonna apologize to Mika and and Kira if she's here also, because they did a stream on coming of age movies and I just knew it was last night. It turns out it was the night before, so I missed it entirely. I'm gonna watch the replay.
Oh,
Um, hopefully it was a well, I know it was a great stream because it's Mika and Kira and they're just fantastic.
they are. They have great energy.
Yes, they do. And she says, enjoy Rob's first Halloween remake, and the backstory weren't fans of part two. Yeah, part two was just garbage. I'm sorry.
Part two
So
is actually part two is really bad. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
part two is just the most terrible. I just did not
If you
understand.
would have said that one's your favorite, I'd be like, Dell,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about this.
yeah. No, that one it's
Let's break it
ooh,
down.
that one's really, really bad. Um yeah, so awesome to see Celise up here. Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And Patrick says coming of age movies are a great topic. They are. This movie that we're going to talk about, though, not really a coming of age movie. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it is a little bit. But I'm going to turn the stage over to you, Miss Selis. Tell the good people what movie you had me watch.
Okay, so I had Dell watch Repulsion from 1965, directed by, unfortunately, Roman Polanski, but we're gonna skip past that.
Yes.
Um, do you want me to tell them what it's about?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna read a synopsis because I'm not good off the top of my head.
Okay.
Beautiful young manicurist Carol suffers from androphobia. This is the pathological fear of interaction with men. When her sister and roommate Helen leaves their London flat to go to an Italian holiday with her married boyfriend, Carol withdraws into her apartment. She begins to experience frightful hallucinations, her fear gradually mutating into madness.
Absolutely. Absolutely into madness. Um,
Yeah, it's a lot of madness going on.
yes, yes, there is. So from the very first thing, very first early on in the movie, we can sense that something is not not quite right with her, with our main character.
Yeah, she's a little off.
She's a little off. Catherine Deneuve plays this role, and she was a big time. She was a model first, I believe, in the '60s, and
Yes.
then went into acting. And as a model, of course, she was known for her looks, but here they definitely played it down a bit.
Yeah, they have her like a little more meek in this one.
Right. And my first thing about her performance, because I knew she was an model first, and
Mhm.
I think I've seen her in one other movie, Belle de Jour. I've seen her in that.
I love that movie.
Yes, really, really good movie,
It's so good.
and she was good in that movie. So at first, not having seen this movie, I was not sure where we were going. So one of
Mhm.
the notes that I took at the beginning was kind of her performance is kind of catatonic.
Okay. Yeah.
But as the movie goes on, that becomes we get to see the reason for that.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try to get you to go back to your first viewing of it. How were you feeling early on with her before anything really goes off?
Uh in my first viewing, I'm going to be honest, my friend showed me this movie because my favorite horror movie is Rosemary's Baby, and I hadn't seen a
Mm,
lot of Polanski's stuff. Um and also he like knew I'm like big into women and stuff, and this is very woman centric. Um so I was very off put by the movie because I didn't really understand what was going on. And I thought that her character was weird. I was like, oh, she's kind of like an introvert. Like she's
mhm,
very quiet to herself. She doesn't really seem to like really anyone, but she definitely
right,
has like the ick with men. Like we kind
right.
of see it like kind of immediately with any guys she's kind of hanging out with.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would say I was a little bit confused until we got to the end because I actually didn't even read a synopsis going into this movie.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
were you a lot younger when you saw it for the first time or no?
No, my friend showed it to me, I think like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I only asked because when you say, "Well, she's weird," and I thought maybe you might have been a little bit younger, uh,
Oh
then.
no. No.
Okay.
That was
But
just
I
my
get it.
first thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it. Now she does have a guy who's kinda hot on her that she's
Yes.
hanging out with. Um, how do you feel about this guy?
Um how do I feel about him?
Yeah, let me
Uh
see.
um I mean, I didn't really have any strong thoughts about this
Okay,
guy.
I guess my
Did you have
question
strong
is
thoughts?
not that I have strong thoughts on him, but my question is more of, do you think he had good intentions?
Oh, good intentions.
Mhm.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't think so. Uh, did you?
I was kind of wishy-washy on it. It was like at
Yeah.
some points it seems like he does, and then at other times it's pretty clear he's really just trying to get laid.
Yeah, he was kind of shady, I feel like.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't really trust him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the part that the parts that kind of let me go, okay, maybe he is not that bad, was
Mhm.
that when he wasn't in her presence, he was kind of defensive or of her, or he was defending her to the other knuckleheads that was hanging out in the bar because they were
Right.
just saying some wild stuff while they were
Yeah.
in the bar.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, not to make this about the men in the movie. So
No, that's okay. I mean, they it plays a big part, so.
it does. And then her sister is, of course, another big part in the movie, and it's pretty clear her sister doesn't pick up on what's actually happening with her.
No, she's very in her own world, I feel like.
Oh,
Yeah.
completely,
Yeah.
completely.
She's got her own shit going on. Yeah.
I Let me know if you picked up on this. For me, for the sister, it was also kind of like, why can't you be more like me?
Yeah, I did pick up on that actually. Yeah. It's there seems to be two very big different vibes going on for both of them. The sister's a lot more like outgoing. Obviously, she's got like, you know, she's like having sex, which obviously I think is making Catherine Deneuve's character uncomfortable, which we see a couple
Mhm.
times.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost wasn't. I was actually not ready for that part of the movie because I mean, when 1965 comes up on the screen, it's in that weird place where, are we still kind of doing the 50s Puritan thing, or have we are we foreshadowing what would come later in the 60s and the 70s as
Mhm.
far as sex is concerned?
Yeah.
So not sure how much they're going to actually deal with that, and they dealt with it quite a bit, and in a pretty straightforward way. We didn't really, well, I'm not gonna say we didn't see anything, but 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 we didn't at the beginning. At least as it involves her sister, we don't really see anything, but it's pretty clear what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So when that's going on, her sister's getting it in with her married boyfriend, as you said in the synopsis,
Yeah.
and Carol's the lead character. She's just kind of over there hating life. So I wasn't sure what exactly was the deal, whether she was just asexual, or if there was just something, or if there was some other mental disability or inability there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see how a lot of people could read it as asexual because upon my first watch, I was like, oh, maybe she's just not into sex. Like, you know?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. It was a little, like you said, it was a little weird. So I wasn't really
Yeah.
sure.
It's an off putting movie.
Yeah, yeah, it can be in a lot of ways. And just to show here, as I found a dead rat, great director, bad person, maybe. There's
Yeah.
no maybe about it. He's a bad person.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, no maybes about it.
Yeah.
Um, Mika says, I've always wanted to see this one, Repulsion. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. And art imitating life with the film name and director being repulsive.
I love that. Yeah, isn't it so ironic that like this man made this movie? You
Yes,
know? It's
yes.
so crazy. Like
And the other movie you mentioned, which is Rosemary's Baby, as they say, love Rosemary's Baby. That one,
great
someone
movie.
being driven crazy from the outside. This is a much more intrinsic thing. This is all on the character there. There's no one
Mhm.
else making this person crazy. At least it does not appear to me.
Yeah.
Um, 11 watching, 9 likes. Thank you, Caveman, for keeping the good fight alive for me on that end. All right. So we see her kind of deteriorating, and again, maybe going back to that first viewing, or even a subsequent viewing, maybe a later viewing for you. The sister, we mentioned she's in her own world. She's got her own thing going on. She knows the boyfriend is married and goes on a trip with him anyway. And so, right there, are you ready for that being the major turning point of the movie?
Am I ready?
Were you ready for that being the big turning point of the movie, that the sister leaving
No,
town?
no, I was not ready. And obviously, everything that comes after that was like, oh wow, okay. There's so many ways to read into the movie. Um, yeah, it's weird. I don't want to take away from you. You go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So,
I want to hear more of your thoughts.
okay, cool. Um, okay. So her sister leaves town, and my first thought was that the boyfriend, or not boyfriend, but the guy who's trying to get with her,
Yeah.
that something bad was going to go down between the two of them. That
Oh
was
yeah.
my that was
Me
my
too.
initial thought.
Me too. I was definitely scared.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, this is not looking good. He's gonna come in here, and something really
Yep. I
bad
was
is
like,
gonna
I
happen.
don't really trust him. I don't think she should be alone with him. Yeah, I think the movie wants you to feel that way also. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think the movie definitely wants you to feel that way, wants you to, as much as possible, to feel what she's feeling.
Yeah. Which, like, for me, I felt like that many times. So I found the movie to be very relatable and scary because it felt very real, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And for me, not being a woman, so I can't completely 100% relate,
Yeah.
but I've talked about things like this, not necessarily this movie because nobody in my family's seen this movie, but I've talked with things like this from their own past with my wife and my two daughters. My two daughters are both adults,
Aw.
and then just thinking back, you start to think back. I'm like, well, I'm a good guy, but have there been times when I've made somebody feel uncomfortable? And it's
Mm.
possible, right? And so you think about all those kinds of things, and it's like, all right, well, I get it. She's not ready to be around this guy alone, especially when her sister's not there. Her sister's much more strong-willed,
Mhm.
and so her sister's not there to protect her. And even if she was, the sister's boyfriend's not going to protect her because he's a dirtbag too. So, so
Yeah.
so that was my initial thought, and then she just kind of, she's starting to hear things and see things. And one of the things for me that was really, really, really effective was the absence of a traditional score for most of the movie.
Oh,
But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but what we got household sounds.
Yeah.
In
I love
particular,
that.
yeah, in particular the ticking clock.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like it just gives you so much anxiety,
Yes,
you know?
yes, it definitely did. I don't know if you seen Dunkirk, the war movie.
Yes,
So
yes.
in Dunkirk, in Christopher Nolan movie, and he did this actually in The Dark Knight also, where instead of a regular musical score, we
Mm.
get this high pitched hum when tension is ratcheting up,
Mhm.
and it kind of puts you on edge for whatever's going to happen next. Well, here we don't get that high pitched hum, but that tick, it's like, oh my god, what
Yeah.
is about to happen? And I
Yeah.
really, I really, really love that.
I
Uh,
love
uh,
that
you know,
you picked up on that because I love that too in my first viewing.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, and so that was jangling my nerves the whole entire time.
Yeah, because it's so quiet, you
Yes,
know? Yeah.
it was completely quiet, and we do have someone new in the building. What's going on, KB?
Oh
Says
my
up, party people.
gosh.
Hello
Hi.
to Selis and brother Dell. Thank you.
How are you?
And all right, so we will let's go ahead and get back to it. In case anyone has just joined us and is not sure, we're talking about Repulsion, Roman Polanski, 1965. Um, so yeah, that ticking clock was just kind of, and I'm forgive me, I'm looking at some notes over here, but
No, it's okay.
that was a big thing for me. And then as we get further along to her time alone, um, she starts hallucinating.
Hmm.
Uh, at least we think she's hallucinating,
Yes.
and she's also becoming obsessed with the rabbit that was in the fridge.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? That whole part I don't really understand actually.
I didn't either. I was hoping you were going to enlighten me.
No, I wish I understood that part. I actually don't understand the whole rabbit thing, and I've seen
Okay.
this movie twice now. But I don't understand that aspect.
Okay. So for anybody in who has not seen it, we're not just talking about like a just we're not Fatal Attraction necessarily, right? We're not
Yeah,
that kind of
no,
rabbit.
not
Not
that.
this is a rabbit that her sister was going to prepare for dinner,
Yeah.
and it was late. You know, I think she got home late, and then when the boyfriend came over, they just decided to go out to eat, and so
Mhm.
this rabbit is left in the refrigerator, and they never throw it out. You know, it just keeps getting put off. Oh, maybe another night, maybe another night, maybe another night, and then eventually she goes out of town, and the rabbit is still there in the fridge.
Yeah.
And eventually, Carol just kind of takes it out of the fridge, and it's just rotting in this apartment. And my thought was, even though nobody mentions it until way later in the movie, even though people come in and out, they don't initially mention it. It takes them a
Yeah.
while to mention the smell. So I'm like, that's got to stink. That's got to be crazy
It's
odor.
got to. Yeah, I mean, yeah. First of all, it was in the fridge for days, and then yeah, like what? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gross.
So I say all that to say, anybody who has seen the movie in the chat, if you have thoughts on that, let me know because I'm sure there's some symbolism that we're both missing. Then,
Yeah, I don't know what it means. Why does she care? Like, I don't understand.
yeah,
Yeah, there's some stuff in Polanski's works that don't entirely make sense to me
true,
sometimes.
true.
Yeah.
And he deals a lot with what one person can see that nobody else does. In Rosemary's Baby, we get all those dream sequences, um,
Yeah.
and here we eventually get the hallway with the hands coming out of the wall. Um, I had seen that shot or one of those shots because there's multiple of them. Like I had seen it, in still pictures, but I didn't have any context for it.
Mhm.
So with the context, it's pretty rough. It gets to be pretty frightening.
Yeah, it's a disturbing scene for sure. Um it's funny cuz that shot has been recreated so
Yes,
much, and they actually did that same shot in Last Night in Soho, if you've seen it.
I haven't. I've been meaning to see that, but I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna check that one out really, really soon. And it, yeah, for anyone who's seen Last Night in Soho or any a dozen other movies that kind of did the same thing, even Nightmare on Elm Street kind of mimicked it a little bit. The
Oh, yeah,
original,
you're right.
where
Yeah.
Freddy's is coming, his head is kind of coming out of the wall, but it doesn't break the wall. So it's
Mhm.
like the wall is just stretching with his head. So we get that here with hands coming down the hallway, and there are like multiple sets of hands, maybe a dozen sets of hands just down in the hall,
Mhm.
and some of them, they're actually groping her. Um, and again, I know how I felt about it. How did you feel about that? I felt like, yeah, this is kind of where we see uh, her fear of interaction with others. I didn't necessarily pick up on it that it was just men, but her interaction with others was overwhelming for her.
Yeah, I think that's the moment where it's all like caving in, like literally caving in for her, like her deep fear. Yeah, I took it the same. But
Okay.
actually, I did. I guess like yeah, on my first viewing I definitely just thought it was for men.
Okay.
Yeah. So I interpreted the hands as just men grabbing at her or her feeling like,
W-
you know.
Well, when one eventually grabs her boob, I got it. I was like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah. But it took me a second. I'm slow. I'm a guy. It's okay. Um,
That's okay. You still understood it. It's all right.
yeah, it took me a while, but I got there.
You got it.
Um,
I
and
have faith in you, Del.
thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let me jump back and see if anybody has got any thoughts on it. Caveman, are you saying it's tactile feeling caused by the sound? I'm guessing we're talking about the clock again.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And it, if you've ever been alone in a room with a ticking clock, it's already a little bit unnerving. And then especially if you're like involved in a task where you have a time limit.
I hate that.
Right,
Yeah. It's just anxiety inducing. That's the
right,
worst when you hear the clock when you have something to do. Yeah.
right. So, and in this case, it's not necessarily that she has something to do, but it's underlining, everything she's feeling is adding to the anxiety
Mhm.
that she's feeling. So, yeah. Wait, Rabbit didn't know Glenn Close made an appearance. See, caveman, see, got I said not that one. Yeah, had my mind going with rabbit. So everybody was already there. Everybody had a rabbit in the pot. That the whole point is the rabbit never got to the pot. That would have been preferable in this case.
For real. She was just letting that shit rot.
Yeah, yeah. Ashley, oh my god, I forgot about the rabbit. LOL. Walter Jones, another great YouTuber, says hello, hello, sweet and spooky. Excited to catch this live stream live. Thank you, Walter.
Hello.
Glad you are here. And yeah, was definitely thinking Fatal Attraction.
Classic.
Oh, we may have some insight here. All right, KB. I always took the rabbit riding as a symbol of her mental descent and a tie to pregnancy slash fertility. Hmm.
Oh, okay. KB.
Interesting. Interesting. So I totally get the mental descent thing.
Me too.
Not sure about the pregnancy fertility thing because it seems to be the opposite of what she wanted, unless that's what you're kind of getting at. Let me know
Yeah.
if you can. Let me know
Yeah.
if you have any more thoughts on that.
Wow.
Walter, I feel I should watch Repulsion now. Listen to the live stream. Yeah, you should definitely give Repulsion a look. We'll talk. We're gonna talk more about the movie. Um, and just even though I know you haven't seen it, we're just kind of gonna get into spoiler territory here. And so if you plan on watching it soon, I would say definitely turn the sound down and just kind of turn it back on when that alert goes away. um, so eventually she she thinks she's being raped. Or since
Yes.
this is YouTube land, I guess R or the R word or S8 or whatever they say now. But
Yes.
since I
Yes.
don't care about being monetized right now, she feels she's getting raped.
Right.
Um, and when that first happened, I wasn't sure myself if she actually was or not because she
Yeah.
hears sounds in the apartment and then she kind of goes to investigate.
Mhm.
And it's like then she's grabbed and snatched up, or the guy is kind of waiting in the bed for her when she gets back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so were you sure that someone was actually not there or there? Did you think someone might have been there?
I took it as like this happened to her in the past
Hmm.
and she's seeing this happen again. Like a PTSD. I didn't think it was actually happening in the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
I again, I'm a little bit slower, so at first I thought it was really happening,
You're not slow.
right? But
You're fine.
then I did go, oh well, and I had the same thought. It's like, okay, maybe this has happened to her before, and this is kind of feeding
Yeah.
everything,
That's what
right? So
I
that,
that's what I think, yeah.
yeah, and eventually, our guy, the would be courter, would be suitor, he eventually comes by just to check on her because she won't answer the phone. She's not coming out to see him anymore because they kind of met at a little diner or whatever from time to
Yes.
time. And even then, though, she was always kind of distant with him.
Mhm.
But horn dogs will horn dog. So she she so he kept
That's a
at
way
her.
to put it, Del.
Yeah, yeah.
It's true though.
So he kind of kept at it, and so he eventually shows up at the apartment,
Mhm.
and he throws on his cape and feels like he's got to save her from something, and
Yep.
he's not even sure what, but
Yeah.
yeah, he
I don't
decides.
think he knows what's going on.
Yeah, he doesn't know what's going on. He has no clue what's going on.
He does not.
No,
He's just
but
like, this is my opportunity to play savior right now.
exactly, that's what I was going. Exactly, and to use a terrible term that I've heard people say, he was in Captain Save-A-Ho mode, so he was going all in. And I will say this: he eventually kicks the door in. I will say that I really appreciated that it took him multiple tries to get this door kicked in. So
Yeah. Yeah, that actually was making me laugh, actually. I thought it was
yeah,
so funny.
this wasn't action hero one kick on the
Yeah.
door and it's open, right? This wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger kicking the door down.
Right. It
This
took
is
him
much
a
more.
minute.
Yeah, this is much more me trying to kick the door down. So I appreciated that. Um,
Yeah, we gotta love the realism. You know,
yeah,
like a
yeah.
door cannot be kicked down in one full swoop. Like, come on.
Not by most of us, no.
Yeah.
So he gets it down, and she's like oddly cool. And did you get a sense of what was going to be next with her switch in demeanor here?
Did I get a set? No.
Yeah,
No. The movie is such a like it's a mindfuck movie. Yeah.
so I might have been a little bit ahead of you this time because I was like, oh, as soon as she reacted so calmly, oh, this is bad. This is going to be bad for him. I don't know exactly how
Oh,
it's going
okay.
to happen, but I'm like, this is going to be bad for him, and especially when we get the neighbor across the hall is just nosy as hell and standing there watching watching their whole conversation. I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
witness. We have a witness."
Yes.
And eventually she you know, we go away and the door closes and she goes inside her apartment. And yeah, and I'm not going to go into great detail for anybody who wants to watch the movie, but it becomes the first in kind of a series of murders. So
Yes.
and I wasn't really ready for that part of it either, especially when knowing Roman Polanski, at least knowing Rosemary's Baby, and I've only seen, I
Yeah.
think, one other movie. And one of the big things about Rosemary's Baby was that at the end, and I'm spoiling that movie, is the restraint Polanski showed in not showing us what was actually in the baby carriage
Mhm.
and the movie kind of ending. So I
Mhm.
wasn't really sure that, you know, I just wasn't really prepared for him to just go all out here and be like, "Yep, here it is. Take a look."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very different movie than Rosemary's Baby for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Um, so I'm gonna take the spoiler alert down because we've already kind of spoiled it. Um,
Yeah.
but y- so I will say one of the big things about this movie for me that really made it work, aside from the things I've already talked about, is that there is very little exposition in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent of show, don't tell. Show it to me, don't tell it to me. Right?
Yeah. I also prefer that.
Yeah. And especially now, you watch a movie and they have to tell you every little thing, right?
Yeah.
And they kind of spoon feed us everything. Well, here
Yeah.
we're kind of left to figure things out on our own as we go. And I thought that was a big, big help to the movie.
Mhm.
And it's one of those movies. I hope don't get remade because I think whoever remakes it will just try to explain the hell out of everything.
Oh yeah. I don't want that. I don't want that. Let's leave this
Yeah,
movie alone.
yeah, leave it alone. It's perfectly fine as it is. Just leave it
I
alone.
think it just like goes to show like none of his movies really can be like remade. Like Rosemary's Baby, they keep trying to do stuff and it's not
Yes, they
good, you
keep
know.
trying.
It's like let's give it a rest, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Caveman says to Walter, "You should do a movie swap with Dell," and Walter reminds him that he actually did, and he had a blast doing it. Thank you for both
Oh,
of you. Eventually, I want to get you both on again at some point because I did have both of those gentlemen on. I will say to Guy next time I do want to get Miss Caveman on with us, but that's up to Miss Caveman. Um, but yeah, so we both agree this is a movie that should not be remade. Um, and we Roman Polanski's name has come up several times during this movie,
yeah.
so I would be remiss if I did not ask where you stand on separating the art from the artist. Like, for can you watch more Roman Polanski movies, or is this kind of it?
Um yeah, I mean, with Rosemary's Baby being my favorite and how much that movie means to me and how much it like kind of made me have a deeper love for horror. With his movies because they are so interesting to study also from a filmmaking standpoint,
Mhm.
I myself kind of have to separate,
Okay.
him from the movies. Um so yeah, I mean there's a lot of other movies that I really like that are not made by good people. So,
Understood. Me personally, I'm in a bad spot when it comes to that now. I'm in a not a bad spot, but a transitional spot,
yeah.
and it's mostly due to movies, not. I'm sorry, mostly due to music, not movies. Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've known of Roman Polanski and about his work, and I've kind of always took a kind of hard line. I've seen Rosemary's Baby, and I think I saw uh, he did a movie with Ewan McGregor, I think in the early 2000s. I can't remember what the name of it is called. Um, it was pretty good, but it was like, I don't really want to support him.
Yeah.
And then music is kind of throwing a monkey wrench into that whole thing because, my heyday for music was 80s and 90s.
Right.
And first it was R. Kelly, and
Oh god.
then it was, of
Yeah.
course, Diddy. They both provided a lot of the music that I listened to in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
So with the two of them, it's like, am I able to still separate art from artists there?
Yeah, that's so interesting because I also like I grew up Y2K era, right? So like
Mhm,
I also like listen to a lot of R. Kelly. And
mhm.
I'm at a point where I don't listen to R. Kelly. Like I'm like, I can't listen to R. Kelly.
Right,
Like,
right.
so yeah, I get it.
I
Yeah.
don't personally, but what tends to happen to me is, my wife and I will go to some function, and inevitably, R. Kelly songs come on.
Yeah.
And usually there's, some of his uh, a couple of his dance songs, his step songs. If I don't know if you're familiar with um, those usually come on, and it's weird because then it's like, I don't personally listen to R. Kelly, but then you find yourself kind of singing along to the song once it comes on.
Right.
And then the same thing kind of with Diddy and Bad Boy Records and all that kind of thing. It's like, that's kind of the soundtrack I had early for the 90s and early 2000s. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of in that in between spot. But to bring it back to the movie,
It's a
so
weird place to be in, you know?
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. And then it's like, you know what? Maybe I might be okay going back and checking out more Polanski movies. We'll see. I don't know. I can't promise
Yeah.
that
I get
necessarily.
it though. Yeah.
Um, so one other thing I wanted to ask you about and is um, are you familiar with a short story called The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins.
No.
Okay. This is a movie, not a movie. This was a short story. Um, I'm trying to find a year on it. Give me 1 second. It was written over 120 years, over 130 years ago now. In 1892, it was written.
Mm.
Um, Promise, I'm gonna get to a point with this is connected somehow.
No,
So
no worries.
I read this story when I was in college. For anybody out there who's not familiar with it, which is most people, I was an English major, so nerd. But let's go on.
I love
Um,
that. That's great.
in this story, we have a young woman who's been she's been diagnosed with, I guess, hysteria. And
Okay.
again, this is 19th century,
Mhm.
so mental health, was not what it is now. And that's really all that she's diagnosed with. She happens to be married to a doctor who's like, I don't think there's really anything wrong with you, but we're gonna kind of, we bought this great big house. And we're gonna kind of remove you from everybody, let you know, kind of, I guess, be on your own so you can heal yourself that way.
Mhm.
And she winds up spending most of her time in this room at the very top of the house. That's got this dingy, torn down yellow wallpaper. They didn't buy the house; they rented it for the summer. Um, it's got this torn up, dingy, messed up looking yellow wallpaper, and the entire story is really her describing her surroundings and how it affects her mentally. And one of the things that she's always talking about is how her husband doesn't really think anything's wrong with her. She just needs time and rest.
Uh,
And people want to come around, but he doesn't really want them to come around. And and the rust, the wallpaper is kind of grating on her. And but oh, look, outside is these beautiful trees and all this kind of stuff. And she apparently just had a baby, and I can't really be with the baby. You don't really trust me with the baby because of the way I'm acting. So, you get a bit of this postpartum depression kind of thing happening there, which they didn't have the vocabulary for.
mm.
And it's very clear through the story for us in the modern age to look at it. So, oh, she was definitely dealing with some sort of depression, whether it's postpartum or not.
Yeah.
And no one else around her is capable of saying that that's what it is.
Mm.
And that's how the story goes. It's a really good story. It's a short story, I want to say 10 pages or less.
Oh, wow. That sounds really good.
Yeah, it is a really good story. Um, if you ever have a chance to read it. But while watching Repulsion, I thought a lot about that story.
Mm.
Because being my first time through it, I was like, okay, how much of it is just her being holed up in this apartment? Right? How much is that just wearing on her? And then,
Mhm.
of course, as the movie goes on, it's not okay. It's not just the apartment. She has other things happening, but how much of it could be either avoided or helped had this happened in 2025 and not 1965, where we have at least a little bit better mental
Mm.
health care.
Wow.
So that was kind of the thought that I had going through the movie. Yeah, for anybody out there who likes to read it all, I recommend that short story. It's not a one-to-one parallel with this movie, but there are some similarities.
Yeah, it sounds like they have similar themes.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of where I was with the movie. Um, Anything you wanted to talk about the movie that we didn't bring up?
Um, I don't think so. I think we pretty much uh covered it all. I liked a lot of the shot work in the movie. We didn't talk about that, but
Yeah,
uh
yes, very good
yeah,
shots. Very good.
there is a
Um,
lot of good shots. I like that one the one that's like a reflection of on the teapot. Do you remember
yes,
that one? That
yes,
one's
I do
so
remember that
good.
one.
Yeah.
And even the opening credits, is just a shot of her eyeball, and that
Yes.
is unsettling right from jump.
Yeah.
That was a great shot, and there were lots of other great shots, like you said. Um, yeah. some really good camera work in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to let me see if anybody has anything else to say about the movie here really quick. Uh, Ashley says, yeah, and it really sucks how many good 90s movies involve the Weinsteins. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's so disturbing when you look back. So many movies I really like that involve them.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, Not least of which is, half of the movies that were nominated for Oscar and anything, just about anything, Quentin Tarantino, or like all his movies were involved in. He's
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so just to give my final thoughts on the movie, I will say that an this is an excellent watch. This is an
Yay.
excellent this is an outstanding watch for me. Um, it it draws you in, and part of it is that lack of exposition that I talked about. It's
Yeah.
not spoon feeding you, which, eventually lets makes it easy to not care.
Mhm.
You actually have to get invested in this character, and you really do. And one thing we didn't really mention was, it's not that she's 100% holed up in his apartment. She tries to leave a few times, like she'll go out
Yeah.
just walking around, or she'll show up to work and something catastrophic will happen at work and the boss sends her home.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's a lot going on with her, and we definitely absolutely get invested in this character. And it's one where if you watch it from one point of view, maybe you think that she's the villain, and
Hmm.
then you could also see that she's not the villain, but herself a victim who happens to victimize others, and then some of those victims deserve it. So
Yes.
yes, particularly the landlord. We didn't really talk about the landlord, but yeah,
Oh,
that guy.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I forgot about him, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, And that was a little odd for me, not what happened to him, but it's how long it took to come back to that. Because like, right at the beginning, we know that she's supposed to go pay the rent, and then it seems like it took
Yes.
forever to get back to that, and that was
Yeah.
a little weird, but it worked. They made it work.
They did.
They definitely made it work. But yeah, so that's really it for me. That was a pretty amazing movie, so I was
I'm
very.
so glad that you liked it. That's
Yeah,
good. I
yeah.
was a little nervous, with all of the movies I sent you actually, but, I'm glad, that you liked it. It's, my final thoughts are that it is really crazy that Roman Polanski wrote a movie about himself.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, it can be seen as autobiographical in some
Yeah, it's
way, yeah.
just, like, so crazy.
And I would say not that he was Carol, but he's some of these other guys.
No, yeah, like, there's some self-insert in there. Yeah. What a
Yeah, definitely.
nasty person. Crazy.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch over to movie number 2, and
Woo.
the movie that I had you watch, let's see if I upset you, creeped you out, or if you liked it,
Oh my
and
god.
we are talking about I'm gonna go big screen for just a moment. We're talking about 1987's Angel Heart, and let's get the glare out of there. And I only show this off because it's a very cool steel book, and we get the flames there, and then we kind of go that way, or actually, it would be better to go that way. So the cover comes off, and you just get this, and very cool. But that's not what we're talking about here. Um, we get this movie where Mickey Rourke, he plays a private detective, and his name is Harry Angel, and he is hired for a job, and his job is to actually find someone. He goes, it's a special job that he is hired for by a man named Louis Cipher, and that person is played by Robert De Niro, a very different looking Robert De Niro than you're used to. Slick back, got the facial hair going, so and incredibly long nails, and and when he goes to meet Cypher, he goes to meet him at this church. He's like in the upstairs of this church, and there's some weird things happening at this church. And but anyway, he's hired to find this guy named Johnny Favorite, and not a whole lot is known about Johnny Favorite other than he used to be a famous musician. And Rourke or Harry Angel kind of goes on that to try to figure things out. And this is in New York, where the movie starts, and eventually takes him down to Louisiana. And yes, some things happen in Louisiana that go on. Some odd things happen in Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh my god. So it's so funny. I never heard of this movie until you
Oh wow.
told me about it. Never heard of it.
Okay. I thought you at least heard of it, which is why you picked it. But okay.
No. So crazy. But I am happy to say I'm glad I watched it. And
Okay.
there's a whole lot to talk about.
Oh, go ahead and get it started. Wherever you want to start. Wherever you want to start.
Okay, so part of why I picked it is because we're set in Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklyn girl right now. I'm from Queens, but I live in Brooklyn.
Oh wait, pause everything right there. Pause everything. I only say that because I grew up in Queens.
Oh, I
Um,
love it.
yeah, what part of Queens?
What part did I grow up?
Yeah.
Uh, like near Rockaway Boulevard.
Oh, so did I, but
No
years
way.
before. Yeah, I went to school at my in junior high school at 226, which is right on Rockaway Boulevard.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So
That's
I
wild. How long
yeah,
ago was that?
that was in the 80s. So forgive me, but yeah, really long
No, it's
time
okay.
ago.
You're funny.
But yeah, so yeah, that's when I grew up, and I watched this movie when I was living in New York in '87. Might have been early '8 because I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it
Wow.
on VHS.
That's cool.
The first time anyway. But go ahead, go back for it. You were saying,
um yes. So that's a part of why I picked it. Also, I did see Robert De Niro. I'm quite a fan. And I haven't seen a lot of Mickey Rourke stuff, which is a shocker, I know. Um so I was really excited to get into this, and this movie is like not at all what I was expecting it to be
okay,
somehow. It's
did did you read a
crazy.
synopsis
Before I watched it,
before?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. And still was way different.
It's yeah, I guess I just like didn't realize how like sleazy and gritty it would be,
Mm, mm.
which I like that. So I'm happy that it was like that. By the time we get to that end, girl, I was covering my face with the pillow. I was like, "No, don't tell me that." Oh
for,
my gosh.
for future reference, if you see Mickey Rourke as a lead, it's
Yeah.
probably a sleazy, gritty movie because that's kind of what he
Okay.
does. And
Yeah, see,
he
I
has,
haven't watched a lot of his stuff.
yeah, he has this amazing ability to be sleazy and charming at the same time.
Seems right. Yeah. That's what he was doing the whole time.
The whole time. What do you think of his character and his performance going through it?
Oh, I loved his performance. I actually loved everybody's performance in this movie, and I'm big on performances. One of my favorite things to talk about since I'm also an actor. So like
Mhm.
I just love studying people's performances. But I really liked him because he kind of seems like this just like rough around the edges type, and then there are these moments where he's just like flirting it up with everyone, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yo, you're trying to like find this guy. Can we focus?
yeah, really.
Can we reel it in? And Robert De Niro is really great because he plays something like I've never seen before.
Oh, completely off his what you think of when you think of Robert De Niro. Completely away from that.
Yeah, because I've seen so much of his stuff. So I was like, wow, I didn't even know he was in something kind of like horror ish.
Hmm.
And those
Hmm.
nails, I was obsessed. I
Oh
I
yeah.
I did love the whole fit actually. But immediately for some reason I was thinking like, is he like a vampire or something? Like I was so
Hmm.
confused, you know?
Hmm.
And then we get to the end, which I won't talk about yet. But when we get there, when we find out, I'm like, oh, I was way off. Like I was like, oh,
But it made
vampire.
sense.
Yeah, it did.
But it definitely made sense. Um, so before he gets to before our guy Harry Angel, Mickey Rourke, you know, he's got to do some tracking down, and he winds up in some odd places before he even leaves New York. And one of those places he has to go and see. He goes and sees this the psychic lady, the palm reader, and
Yes.
yeah. Any idea where we were going with that once we got there?
Um, no. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest, no. Actually, like this movie was really confusing for me. There's a trend going on here. I'm often confused. I think upon a second viewing, I'll probably be able to pick up on things better.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
definitely that kind of movie.
Yeah.
This is This is definitely that kind of movie because I hadn't watched it in quite a while, so some of the things I had forgotten. Um,
Yeah. Did you rewatch it for this?
yes, I did rewatch
Oh,
it for
okay.
this.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I absolutely rewatched it for this. And just going back to Robert De Niro, one of the things that was kind of creeping me out was him with the hard boiled eggs.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, dude, what are we doing? Why are we
I
doing this?
hated that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disturbing. I also didn't know what was going to happen with the eggs. There's also a theme of chickens in the
Hmm.
movie as well. Eggs, chickens.
Yeah, and we hear several times that Harry is he's afraid of chickens.
Yep.
So I thought that
He's
was
got a thing
interesting.
about chickens. Yeah.
Does have a thing. We get a payoff for that.
We do.
Yeah, we get a payoff,
We do.
and it was pretty wild payoff. Just a just a quick look because we do have a well. Walter says, "I love Angel Heart." Thank you, Walter. I'm glad to
Yay.
hear that. And Nikki's here, Jane Doe, Jeff's mom. Good evening, Dell and Chad. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
And KB, me and Mrs. KB watched that 4K back in March. Such a big deal when it came out because of Cosby and Lisa Bonet. Yes, since you brought it up, I'm going to talk about it right now. Our, Lisa Bonet was played the girl uh, that he eventually winds up in bed with, and we'll get to that
Oh
whole deal.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, were you familiar? Are you familiar with her before this at all?
I'm actually looking her up right now because I feel like when I saw
She
her, I thought she looked familiar to me.
She played in the Cosby Show when she was at around when this movie came out. She was playing in the Cosby Show. Eventually,
Hmm.
what you might know her from is she is Lenny Kravitz's first wife. Um, and
Oh, is
that's
Zoe her daughter?
exactly Zoe
Yeah,
Kravitz is
yeah.
her daughter.
Okay, yes, because they look so similar.
Yes, and she
Yeah.
goes by a different name now. I never could remember her new name. But it's a very, for lack of a better term, a hippie-ish name. Um,
Oh, okay.
so and I'm sorry if I offended anybody with that, um, but yeah, so she was playing on the Cosby Show, and this, of course, is before we knew what we found out about Bill Cosby. Um,
Right.
so he was at the time America's dad, America's favorite dad, because the Cosby Show was such a huge sitcom
Mhm.
back then. And when this movie came out, or really right before it came out, he got wind of, and everybody kind of got wind of some of the things that she had to do in the movie,
Mhm.
and that didn't fit with the squeaky clean image of the show, and so
Mhm.
he fired her.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, very ironic looking back, again,
Yeah.
now that we know what Bill
Right.
was up to in his off time, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's where that comment comes from.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
Wow.
and yep, that's Zoe Kravitz's mom.
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely tell they look a lot alike.
They do look a lot alike. Um, Since we brought her up, though, how did you feel about her role in the movie, without getting into the specifics of what happens later on?
Yeah, I really liked her right away. Like I said, I'm all about the girlies, but
Yeah.
yeah, I liked her right away. I love her chemistry with Mickey Rourke. I think they worked really well off of each other. Um and yeah, immediately she was very interesting too. Like it felt like she had like a secret. Like I wanted to know more about her.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I did like that. And then obviously we learn a lot more about her.
We learn a lot more about her.
Yeah.
We eventually learn a lot more about her. One of the things for me, like I said, since it had been so many years since I had watched it, I forgot that it took a while before she actually shows up in the film.
Yeah. It did take a while.
Yeah, so it took a while, but once she shows up, you realize, okay, this is going to be a major player in what happens, and she definitely was.
She was. I have to talk about, well, I guess we'll talk about that later. I don't want to spoil anything too early. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, okay,
Cuz it's kind of towards that main
okay.
crazy
Yeah,
thing at the
we'll get there. We'll
end.
get there soon enough. We'll definitely get
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. I don't want to give too much away right away.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there soon enough. Just want to acknowledge someone else who popped in, Mark Kubler. Hey, Mark, and Mark says
Hi.
hello, everyone. Thank you for popping by. Um, all right. So we talked about the setting a little bit. We talked about New York. We talked about Louisiana just a little bit. And for you, how did the settings affect the movie? The two different settings affect what was going on in the film, if
I
it did,
like
if it affected
I
much.
mean, I liked it because I feel like the movie is so atmospheric.
Hmm.
So I think it really works. Um yeah, I don't know much about Louisiana. I've never been, but it's a place that I want to go to someday. So I'm
Hmm.
just immediately intrigued when anything is like set in Louisiana.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've never been either, but just going off reputation,
Yeah.
it's a place with a lot of supernatural ties, and
Yeah. Yeah.
especially in movies, it's presented that way. I'm
Yes.
sure if there's anybody here from Louisiana, they may be offended right now. That's not what we're all like,
No.
but
I mean,
just
it
going
does
off.
tend to have that reputation.
Yes, it does. Just a side little story. I was in the military once upon a time, and there was a young lady who I worked with, who was from Louisiana. And anytime strange things would happen around us while we were working, I would kind of look at him like, "Stop it! Don't stop doing that." But she got a kick out of it. Since she got a kick out of it, it was okay. Um,
That's funny.
but yeah, the
You're like out
for
here, like, stop doing the brujeria on me, girl.
right, right. Just things, something strange would happen. Um, but for me, the two settings were just a little different in that in New York, you kind of got similar feels in different places. For instance, the church that he went to.
Right.
But once he left the church, you really get that really slimy kind of feel, that really 60s era, 50s era in New York, where before Disney took over everything, and it fit him as a character so well.
Mhm.
And then when he moved down to Louisiana, it was, I'm a fish out of water here,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but I still have that New York attitude where I'm smarter than everybody else.
Yes. Yes. I do love that aspect because that is very true. A
Oh
lot of
yeah.
New Yorkers are like that. That's very true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Anytime I'm like not in New York, I'm visiting anywhere, like Pennsylvania is a place I frequently visit. I'm just
Mhm.
like, I don't understand any of you. Like, I don't understand any of this shit.
Yeah.
So,
It took me a while to get out of that because I've been out of New York for now, about 30 years or so. Um,
wow.
uh, and I'm in North Carolina now. But those first 10 years, it was kind of like it takes a while for you to realize that not everybody who was not born in New York isn't stupid. It takes a while to get there. um,
Yeah, it's weird. It's just like a different culture, you know? It's a different,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And,
yeah,
life is like different too because everything in New York is so fast and,
right.
you
And
know.
that connects the movie for me in that in real life, like you you kind of equate someone with a slow Southern drawl as not that smart.
Mm,
And that happens in this movie, particularly when we get the police officers who are kind of hanging around after they catch wind of what's going on, and our guy becomes a suspect in some things that's happening.
mhm.
Um, but these cops were really interesting. What did you think about these cops?
I didn't really like them. They say a lot of shit that had me like, but I had to keep in mind the era that this movie is in. But even so,
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. Um, but yeah, I they were funny though. There was a lot of
Hmm.
comedic moments with them. Yeah.
There was, but I was like you because like I had forgotten about them completely. So then yeah, they would say something, and I had to look at the TV like, oh wait, okay, it is. So, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
So
isn't that yeah, it was crazy. I was like, "Oh, okay. Wow."
yeah, it got to be pretty wild. All right, I'm gonna go into the comments just one last time. We got a few more comments, not one last time, but one more time. See if there's any other comments before that, and then we can get into some of those spoiler areas that
Okay.
we want to talk about. We got a lot of people really just saying hi back and forth, and so I'll skip those and just go right to Caveman. Angel Heart is on Tubi, FYI. So yeah, if anybody out there hasn't seen it, you can see it for free on Tubi. Um, Depending on your tolerance level for ads, because there's going to be ads, going to be uncut, but
There always is.
yeah, but you have to deal with the ads. And oh, he also just chimed in. Repulsion is on Prime, FYI, and I that's how I watched it. I watched it on Prime,
Love that.
and yeah, so go ahead and give it a look. All right. So let's go ahead and get this spoiler alert going. And I'll let you start with wherever you want to take it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, where do I want to take it? Um, hmm. I guess I'll take it from when we are first introduced to her name is Epiphany, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Obviously when I was watching and he was talking to her and clearly I could tell that he was feeling her. The whole time I was like, "Well, she looks so much younger than him though."
Oh yeah.
Like this is really weird. How old is she? Um
Hmm.
and we obviously don't find out how old she is for a little while.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Do you want to go?
Well, I was just gonna say that I knew she was a lot younger than him, but I thought
Yeah.
she was a little bit older. From memory, I was thinking she was a little bit older than what she actually turns out to be.
Yeah.
And once we find out, I'm sure I'm gonna guess it's the same for you, but the ick factor just went.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when when they meet up again. Oh, before yeah. No, I'll talk about that. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
Okay.
When they meet up again, and we find out that she is 17 years old,
Hmm.
I was like, well, how old is he?
Yeah.
But
Clearly
they
not
don't.
17.
He's clearly not 17. I don't even know if they say how old he is, but clearly he's so much older. Like, this is a
Hmm.
grown ass man. So I was hoping, like, oh, okay, he's gonna hear 17 and be like, yeah, goodbye, you know?
Hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, which was disappointing for me. I was
Yeah.
like,
Um.
oh, okay.
This is the era of the movie being made. is the era of quite a few hit songs about 17-year-old girls. Um,
What is
so
that
yeah, that's where
about?
we kind of were as a society. And in the 50s, it was even worse when the movie set. You know, so
Right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But go ahead,
It's so
continue.
disturbing. Yeah, yeah. A little bit before this, he sees her doing like some sort of ritual with a chicken, which
Hmm.
I really love that scene actually. And I thought it was interesting because there seems to be a theme with chickens throughout the whole movie. He sees like that chicken like hand thing in the bathroom.
Hmm.
There's an ongoing theme of chickens.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, to bring it back to them hanging out and she's like I'm 17, then they decide to like hook up and I was not expecting what's to come
Oh.
after that. So I was very like thrown off, I guess.
Hmm.
Because it's a weird scene the way it's shot
Hmm.
too, which I did think was interesting because it is it's really scary. Um but obviously they do hook up, they have sex,
Hmm.
and then we're getting these he's having these hallucinations, it appears, and there's blood everywhere, and he becomes like aggressive,
Hmm.
and yeah, that part was like kind of hard for me to watch because I was confused, but I also was like, is this actually happening? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
who's like imagining this? And then we have like shots of her seemingly very uncomfortable, obviously. um
So for just
yeah.
for people who may not have seen this movie, we talked about sex and repulsion, where when the sister is having it in that movie, you're really
Mm.
hearing it through the wall. You're not seeing anything.
Yeah, this
And
you see
then
everything.
this is, yeah, you see everything. This is pretty explicit for a rated R movie. And even in Repulsion, when you do see something, and like we mentioned, the scenes where she thinks she's being raped, it's a lot of quick cutting, so you're not really seeing much.
Right.
Um, and this is just full on. The cameras here. You get it all pretty much. Um,
Yeah, you get a lot.
and
Yeah.
again, mind you, like you said, this is after we know that she's 17, and
Yes.
yeah, it could be a lot, and we get, like you said, all the blood and everything that's just happening in the scene, and then
Yeah.
he eventually becomes aggressive, and
Yeah. And then
yeah.
after that, she's just like taking a bath and it seems okay. And so I was confused. You
Hmm.
know, I was like, "What? Like, are you okay? Like, should I call the fucking police?
Right,
I
right.
don't know." So the movie was kind of like an emotional roller coaster for me.
Hmm.
Um, and the whole time I kept like thinking also like the person that was uh committing these murders, I'm like thinking, oh, it must be Robert De Niro.
Right.
I'm like, it must be
You could
like this
be.
vampiric, like
I
Robert De Niro.
So my initial thought back in the day, and even now, because I mean, knowing I knew the end of the movie, but a lot of the details I had forgotten,
Mhm.
and so it was okay. He may not be killing anybody directly. This is back when I was younger and saw it. He may not be killing anyone directly, but he's having someone kill people, which was
Right.
kind of my thought.
Oh,
Um,
okay, yeah.
yeah, that was my thought way back then. Um, it's funny you mentioned that. Do you need me to call the cops? Cops actually showed up while she's taking the bath,
Right. Which then I'm
and
like, hello?
yeah, yeah. But they made it clear they don't really care what happens to her one way or the other. They made that
They made that
abundantly clear.
very clear, which was
Yeah,
also like, uh, yeah, that scene. I was like, what?
yeah, yeah. They
Yeah.
made that really clear. Um, so I mean, I'm trying to figure out exactly how to get to where I'm trying to get to.
I know.
Um, yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So I mean, he actually when he leaves her, I mean, he goes back out and he's investigating more,
Yeah.
and eventually it, he finds out something, or he finds out some things about the person who hired him to go on this wild goose chase or wild chicken chase, as it were,
Yes,
in the
literally.
movie. And this is where you were kind of early. You were talking about no, 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 no. And it was actually it's not. But this first part of it, we find out exactly who Robert De Niro's character is.
Yes.
How big of a head scratcher was that for you?
I was gagged. Like I can't believe I didn't like put it together, honestly.
Hmm.
Because when he's like when he flat out just says the name and then it literally is Lucifer, I'm like, "Oh shit. I feel so stupid. I didn't put that together." Like, are you kidding me? Because the whole time I'm like, oh, like, why does he look like that? Like, why are his nails like this? Is he like a vampire? Like, I should have known something like, you know, like the devil would be involved, especially
Right.
with like the ritual that we get also. So, like,
Hmm.
I just, that was completely like not, I wasn't expecting. Um, but the real moment where like my jaw dropped for
Okay.
sure was when we get the reveal that like he's looking for himself because he's Johnny fucking favorite.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then it took me a second. And by the way, I was watching this with my partner and I was
Uh
like, we were both watching and we're both gagged. And like my partner looks at me and goes, "Babe, but she said her dad is Johnny Favorite." And I went, "No, it's not." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And that was my moment where I like put my pillow over my face and I was like, "No, I can't do it." Oh my gosh. Yeah. What a like wild movie. This movie reminded me of similar to Jacob's Ladder, if you've seen that.
Yeah, it's been a really long time since I've seen it, but yeah, I have seen it.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. But also like it does also remind me a little bit of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me just because of the
I have not seen that,
I won't
and
spoil anything.
that's because I'm trying to work my way through a David Lynch version.
You should.
He, he I've seen Mulholland Drive, and it drove me nuts for no reason. I
It's crazy.
I need to go back. I keep telling myself I'm going to go back to it. I did watch Elephant Man. I like that. Um,
Good.
but
Seen
I'm
Eraserhead?
I've not seen Eraserhead yet. So it's one of these things where I'm just gonna start binging one of his movies one of these days, weeks, months, years, and we'll see how it goes. Um,
I hope you do.
yeah, yeah. We're gonna come back to that, but I do have somebody else new in the chat. What's going on, Hulk? Yes, movie
Hi.
swap time. Let's go. So, yep. Hulk is also going to be, well, he was going to be on our game, so he's going to be on round two when we get there. So, not to spoil that, but he's got more important things to tend to than me. I desperately need to watch my Steelbook of Angel Heart. I haven't seen it since VHS rental days. Yeah, definitely give it another watch, guy. It is, at least in my opinion, worth the watch. Chris C. the Slasher, what's going on, Chris? Good evening. Everyone hit that like, please. Yes, please hit the like. And Johnny is also here. What's going on, Johnny? He was my last guest for Movie Swap. He says, "What's up, cool kids? What's going on, Johnny?"
Hello.
And Chris says, "Repulsion is great, part of the Apartment trilogy." Yes. So, Chris, you may have to go back and watch the replay if you want to hear us talking about it, because we already went through Repulsion.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. And I want to say, let's say, KB, enjoying this dance around words and situations. LOL. Yeah, we eventually got to it. We're
We
getting to
did,
it.
but we were doing the dance for a minute.
We definitely were. Chris always loved Mulholland Drive. Blue Velvet is my number one from Lynch. I haven't seen Blue Velvet either.
Oh, you
Um,
would love it, I think.
that is definitely one I do want to see. Knowing what we know today about Cosby makes it really ironic for what she was fired for. Yeah, that's what we said. Uh, don't you wonder what Cosby got away with and not being a great role model to Theo and what happened to them? Theo has actually gone on to have a great life and a great career. So, Malcolm Jamal Warner, um, pretty successful actor. Not lately, I haven't seen him in too much, but yeah, he shows up every now and again.
Mhm.
The rest of the Cosby kids, not as much, but you do see them sometime. Johnny, I need to check out more of David Lynch. Love me some Blue Velvet. And what did you think of the prosthetic special effects on Angel Heart? I'll let you handle that one.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it looked good.
Okay. I will
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I actually really yeah. I really liked how the whole movie looked, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we got some highs back and forth. So we're gonna stop right there for the chat. We'll come back to it a little bit later. So we get that whole reveal, and after you pick your jaw up off the floor,
um
simple question: does that elevate or sink the movie for you?
no, it elevated it. Yeah, yeah. That was the moment where I was like, "Oh, this movie is sick." You know? Like sick
Hmm.
in like a way like I
Yeah,
really like this, it's sick,
yeah,
it's cool, but also it's sick.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Definitely works both meanings. Definitely works both meanings. That much is for sure.
And I
Uh,
really wasn't expecting that at all.
how could
So,
you?
yeah, it's great at what it does because I feel like there's no way that you'd be thinking it's him,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
I don't know because I've only seen it the one time, so I wonder if like a second time, maybe you, I don't know, have like little hints that it's him. I don't know.
On subsequent viewings, it'll be looking for clues to see.
Yeah.
You're kind of watching to see if there are clues to give it away.
Hmm.
And upon this watch, and again, maybe it's been a while too long since I'd seen it before, but I didn't really find a lot of clues. Some hints maybe, but not really anything where I could go, oh yeah, that's what it is. It just really wasn't there for me. Um,
Hmm.
maybe if I watch it again, might be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming between you and your partner, a pretty long conversation after this goes off.
Yeah, which my partner Rocco really liked it too and was also talking about similarities with Jacob's Ladder. Um we both were like, "Well, that is a feel bad movie. I kind of feel
Yeah,
like shit now. Like maybe we'll watch something fun."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up watching like a 80s Robert Englund movie right after for some good laughs.
Okay, which one?
We watched Phantom of the Opera.
Ah, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Definitely much more fun than this.
Yeah, because this is not fun at all. But I will say there are funny moments though. And
Hmm.
I did write my favorite line on my letterbox review
Okay.
cuz I really resonated with this. Um so it's that scene where the guy is like, oh wait, I think it's Robert De Niro. Sorry, it's Robert De Niro talking to Mickey Rourke, and he's like, "Are you an atheist?" And then he says, "Yes, I am. I'm from Brooklyn."
Yes. Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, same, bestie."
Yeah. Yeah. That was an excellent line. Yeah. Yeah.
As the delivery was great too. Yeah, I love that there's a good blend of comedy in a movie that's so dark.
Yeah, I mean, and you already mentioned the two police officers, and from time to time, Mickey Rourke just says these kind of sly things that slip in, and you go and you get a chuckle out of.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did appreciate that because again, when he goes into the psychic, he says a few things, and when he's in the uh, the club when he's talking to the musician.
Mhm.
They have some interesting exchange. The musician in particular, they say some funny things back and forth to each other, but
Yeah.
the tone never really changes. We get that this is a dire situation. This is a serious situation,
Oh, yeah. I
and
love that.
yeah, and it's kind of hard to pull that off.
It
Which is
is. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of movies once you start slipping in the jokes, then kind of everything becomes a joke, and then they try
Mhm.
to yank you back into the serious side of it, and sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um, I thought they really did it well here. We talked about shots a little bit. We definitely talked about it at the when we talked at the end of Repulsion. What do you think about the shots here, the cinematography going on in this movie?
Oh, I liked it. I think, yeah, I think a lot of the shots, um, I really love the way that the ritual scene is shot. And
Mhm,
of course, I do love, as disturbing as that scene is, I do love like the jumping cut scenes to what's going on in that
mhm.
sex scenes, the hallucinations. Um, yeah, I think the movie like looks really nice. Yeah.
It does. I was look going back to one of the comments before Caveman. He said he had to watch his 4K steelbook. He's got the same one I have, and I'm gonna say this: it looks really good. I
Mhm.
don't like when reviewers of new 4Ks of old movies go, "This looks like it could have been shot yesterday." Stop it! No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. But there is a clarity to it that uh, if you've only seen it on VHS or a DVD, that wasn't there.
Mm.
So and we get details in the background of scenes and in faces of characters that wasn't there before. And in this case, it lends a lot to the movie because it's not so cleaned up where everything looks plasticky or anything like that. You still get that raw, gritty feel to the film.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
I really, really did appreciate that for the film. So yeah, if anybody else has it on 4K, I would definitely say give it a watch. You're not gonna get quite that same thing on Tubi, but the story is strong enough to carry that anyway. The
Oh
what's
yeah.
happening on the screen, the plot. So yeah, you'll
The
get that.
story is very strong.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
story is very strong. We do have some more comments here. Let me see if there's anybody with anything about the movies or anybody new come in, and then I'll get your final thoughts on it. And like I said, we had a lot of back and forth hellos. Um, Caveman tells me if you like ears, you should like Blue Velvet. Now I'm frightened.
You'll like it.
Yeah, and this is a comment I was kind of gonna make. KB says Angel Heart crawls so old boy could run.
I
Have you
thought
seen?
of that. Yeah. Oh, I love Old Boy. It's
Yes,
one of
Old
my
Boy is one of my
favorites.
all-time favorites, and yeah, one of my all-time favorites. So definitely the similarities are there.
Yes. That fight sequence in Old Boy is so
Yes, yes, it is. It
good.
is. Um, if you have not seen the Spike Lee remake, don't see the Spike Lee remake.
Oh, I don't plan on it.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't
this
hear
is
good things.
this is coming from an avowed
Spike
Spike
Lee
Lee
fan.
fan. He's like my favorite director, and it's like, no, don't skip it.
He's got
Watch it.
bangers, you
Yes,
know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't watch that one. uh, been watching it since '87. They hardly gave anything away. Yeah, so it's not really a movie where when you watch it, you go, "Oh, well, that means that tells us was coming later on in the
That's
movie."
pretty great because it's great storytelling, which
It is.
makes sense because I heard it's based on a book.
Mhm. Yes, it is.
I haven't read the book. Have you read the book?
I have not read the book. No.
Oh, I'm curious to read it now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See if the impact is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it might struggle to be the same only because I've seen the movie, but
Yeah, that's true.
still curious to see how it works out. All right, Miss Elise. Your your overall thoughts on Angel Heart.
My overall thoughts on Angel Heart is that I really liked it. It's pretty disturbing. I can't believe I haven't seen this film sooner, especially cuz I enjoy disturbing movies and I never see this one really on disturbing lists or anything, which is very surprising with that
Yes,
ending.
very.
Um so I'm very excited to put my audience onto this movie and show my friends who are probably going to think I'm demented after when they get to the end. But yeah, I had a
It's
great
in your
time.
friends. They already know you're demented, so it's okay.
That's true. They already know what they're getting themselves involved in. Um I'm always happy to watch a movie also that's set in New York City, especially like this era. I just love the grittiness of it. So, I love this movie. I'm happy you put me on.
Good, good, absolutely.
Yeah.
So two wins. I will say two
Yeah,
wins.
I'm so happy for us right now.
Yes, yes. It doesn't always work out this way. Sometimes one or the other person doesn't really care for the movie that much, and that's okay. But I'll take
Yeah.
wins when I can get it,
Yeah, I
and
love that.
absolutely take wins when I can get it. KB's the same on Spike's. Oh boy, the studio ruined it from another big Spike fan. Yet they did.
Damn.
According to Spike and Josh Brolin, who stars in the movie, there is a near 3 hour cut of the movie somewhere
Oh,
that it
wow.
has not been released and will probably never be released. And Spike himself removed his famous moniker from the movie, which is a Spike Lee joint, and it's just simply directed by Spike Lee,
Whoa.
which is a big thing for him.
Yeah.
Yep. And Fun Stream says thanks and see you next week, Mama. Okay.
Oh, yes, we're doing a stream next week.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be checking that out. And we have made it through both of these movies.
Yay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Heavy movies to talk about today.
Yes, cool. And I'm gonna turn the floor over to you. You can let everybody know where to find you online and what you have coming up next and all that good stuff.
Oh yes. So you can find me on YouTube, Sweet and Spooky, obviously. And next video for me will be a review on our new shark summer horror movie, Dangerous Animals. I'm very excited to talk about it with all of you. And you can find me on Instagram, Sweet and Spooky Official, and I'm kind of like low key back on TikTok now. I don't know if I'm gonna stay on TikTok, but that's also sweet and spooky, like sweet and low. Come through, say hi. Don't be shy.
Absolutely. I will promise you I will not be saying hi on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok.
That's okay.
But I have been following you for a while on Instagram and on YouTube. Great content in both of those places. And my audience skews older because I'm old, so not a lot of us are on TikTok.
That's
We're on
okay.
Yeah, we're on Instagram and YouTube, so definitely check her out there. And if you are on TikTok, check her out there. As for my channel, my latest video was a double feature review. I reviewed Final Destination Bloodlines and a non-horror movie, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. And I will have a couple of videos coming up between now and then. I know my next episode of Movie Theater Memories will be The Matrix. I'm not sure exactly what day that's going to come out. I have to edit that. And next week, I will be doing a stream where we're going to play a game called Quotables. We're going to talk about movie quotes. And I think it's going to be Wednesday. Give me a second to look that up. And my phone is slow. But I think it's going to be Wednesday. But stay on the lookout for that. We have a great panel coming up. Some from Instagram who are not on YouTube, and of course, we do have some YouTubers there also. It's going to be on the 18th, so that will be 19, 16. Yeah, that'll be Wednesday, next Wednesday. So if you know anything about movie quotes, come on out and check us all out. And that's really all I have. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Just going back through it, and yeah, we did cover some heavy Cosby. Yes, absolutely. Huck just subbed to you. I'm assuming he means you because he subbed to me. So
Thank you.
very cool. So see, coming on here got you a few more subs. Never
Appreciate
hurts.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's all we have for you guys. And we're gonna call it a night. Uh, bye bye, everybody.